Success isn't this magical place you stumble into. It's not luck. It's not some lottery ticket you scratch and win. Success is earned, built, fought for, but most people never see it, not because they aren't capable, but because they're too busy dragging invisible chains behind them. The world isn't your enemy. You are. The habits you protect, the comfort you prioritize, the excuses you justify, all of it becomes your prison, and you're the one holding the key and refusing to use it. People sabotage themselves every single day without even realizing it. They scroll endlessly, comparing their behind. The scenes mess with someone else's highlight reel. They binge on distractions like their life is already perfect, as if they've made it. But they haven't. They're broken, and blind to the fact that their time is leaking through their hands like water, and the worst part, they defend it. They defend the things that are destroying them: lazy routines, toxic relationships, constant complaining, zero urgency. They treat their limitations like trophies. You want to know what's really blocking your success? Look in the mirror. The man who can't wake up early, the man who lies to himself, the man who knows what he should be doing but doesn't. That guy is your enemy, not society, not your past, not the economy. You. Because if you had real discipline, real hunger, you wouldn't be playing the same game as everyone else. You wouldn't be scrolling for hours, arguing with losers, doubting yourself every time it gets hard. You'd be attacking your goals with a level of violence and obsession the average man can't even comprehend. The truth is, most people aren't afraid of failing. They're afraid of trying and realizing how far behind they really are. So they avoid it altogether. They numb themselves. They fake progress. They celebrate small wins like they're done. But if your bank account still looks like it did last year, if your body is still soft, if your mind is still weak, you haven't won anything. You're still at the starting line pretending like you're running. Success isn't complicated, it's just hard, and most men choose easy over excellence every time. The patterns are the problem, patterns of delay, patterns of distraction, patterns of softness. You sleep late because you tell yourself you deserve it. You skip the gym because you convince yourself you're tired. You miss opportunities because you're too busy justifying why it's okay not to act. That's not life, that's self-inflicted failure. The pain of discipline is nothing compared to the pain of regret, but most people won't realize that until it's too late. They won't wake up until they're old, bitter, and full of stories about what they could have been. Every moment you waste is a moment your competition uses. There is someone right now building, growing, stacking wins while you stall. There is someone eating your share of success because you refuse to do what's necessary. The man who grinds through exhaustion, who doesn't need motivation to act, who lives with urgency, that man gets the rewards, not the man who waits, not the man who whines, not the man who dreams but doesn't move. You want a better life, you have to deserve it. You have to outwork the old version of you every single day. You can't heal in the same environment that made you sick, and most of you live inside a loop that guarantees mediocrity. Same people, same distractions, same habits. You wake up, you waste time, you go to bed, you repeat. Then you complain about not winning. How can you win if you're not even in the arena? How can you win if your daily actions are aligned with staying exactly where you are? You don't need another motivational video. You need a complete overhaul of your priorities. People love to talk about goals but hate systems. They love the fantasy of success but reject the process. Your goals don't mean anything if your daily behavior contradicts them. You can't say you want wealth and act broke. You can't say you want strength and avoid discipline. You can't say you want focus and feed your mind with chaos. Your results are screaming the truth. They tell the world who you are long before your words do. You can't lie to life. You can't cheat work. You get what you earn, nothing more. And right now, if you're not where you want to be, it's because you've been negotiating with your limits. You've been arguing for your comfort zone. And you always win that argument. You want to know what's really stopping you. You don't respect yourself enough to keep your promises. You say you'll do something, and then you don't. You set a target, then let yourself slide. You talk a big game, but you live like a spectator. If you want change, real change, it starts with becoming disgusted with average, with treating mediocrity like a disease. Until that happens, nothing changes. You will protect the same habits that broke you. You will defend the same mindset that traps you. You will cling to comfort like it owes you something, and it doesn't. Comfort is a liar. It whispers sweet things while it steals your future. And if you keep listening, you'll die with regret in your chest and potential on your soul. Every time you hit snooze, every time you make an excuse, every time you avoid doing what you know you should, you dig the hole deeper. And one day, you'll wake up so buried in disappointment you won't even recognize yourself. That's what's at stake. Your future, your legacy, your power. If you want to unlock it, you need to become the kind of man who doesn't negotiate with weakness, who doesn't justify mediocrity, who doesn't bow to distractions. Nothing changes until you change. No plan, no coach, no book will save you if you're still loyal to the same mindset that built your current reality. Your loyalty needs to shift. Stop being loyal to your fears. Stop being loyal to your excuses. Be loyal to the vision. Be loyal to the man you could be. Because until you are, success will stay a fantasy. Something you talk about, not something you live. There is no hack. There is no secret. Just relentless execution, ruthless consistency, unbreakable standards. That's the real formula. And the faster you accept that, the faster you rise. Every day is a test. Most people fail it before they even leave their bed, not because they're weak, but because they choose to be. Strength is a decision, discipline is a decision, success is a decision. Make it. The second thing blocking your success is your circle, your so-called friends, your environment, and the people you allow into your mind and life on a daily basis. Most people don't even realize that their downfall isn't because they're stupid, lazy, or incapable. Their downfall is because they're surrounded by people who keep them mentally shackled to mediocrity. If you spend your days with people who whine about life, gossip, get drunk every weekend, and make excuses for their lack of progress, you will become one of them. That's the truth. It's not even about what you do. It's about who you do it with. Association is powerful. You want to know who you'll become in 5 years. Look at the 5 people you hang around with most. That's your future. That's your reflection. People don't understand how deep this runs. It's not just your best friend who keeps telling you to take it easy or your cousin who laughs when you say you want to start a business. It's the energy of complacency, of comfort, that surrounds you and keeps whispering in your ear, "You're fine where you are." That voice isn't just coming from within you. It's being reinforced by everyone around you who's afraid of change. Because if you rise, they have to face their own mediocrity, and they don't want that. So they'll joke about your ambition, downplay your goals, and secretly hope you stay just like them. Not because they hate you, but because your success would expose their cowardice. You need to start being ruthless with your circle. If someone's not adding fire to your ambition, they're subtracting from it. Cut them off, not in hate, but in necessity. This is war, and you don't go into battle with people who are dragging their feet. You find warriors. You find people who are sharp, disciplined, driven. People who challenge you, call you out, push you forward. And if you can't find them yet, isolate yourself. Be your own fire until you attract those who burn just as bright. Solitude is better than toxic company. In solitude, you can build. In toxicity, you only decay. The third major block to your success is distraction, and I don't just mean social media, though that's a massive one. I mean anything that pulls you away from your path, your purpose, your potential. Your mind is your most powerful weapon, but most people let it get hijacked 24/7. You scroll endlessly, watch garbage content, follow lives that are fabricated illusions, and wonder why your own life feels empty. Because you're not focused on building. You're focused on consuming. You're mentally obese, stuffing your brain with junk and starving your soul of real progress. Distraction has become the new drug. It's legal, it's everywhere, and it's killing your drive. Every time you pick up your phone out of boredom, you're training your brain to avoid discomfort. Every time you waste an hour watching nonsense, you're teaching yourself that entertainment is more important than your goals. This isn't about never having fun, it's about earning it. You don't get to enjoy freedom if you haven't built discipline. You don't get the luxury of relaxation if you haven't earned the right to it. Right now, most people are slaves to distraction. They can't even sit in silence for 5 minutes without grabbing their phone. They can't read a book without zoning out after 2 pages. They've destroyed their attention span and then blame the world for not getting results. You need to get militant with your focus. Cut off the apps, unfollow the people, delete the games, block anything that pulls your attention away from the mission. Start your day with intention, not reaction. Don't check your phone first thing in the morning. Check your goals. Don't scroll through nonsense. Scroll through your strategy. Every moment of distraction is a moment stolen from your destiny. Time is the most valuable currency you have, and you're spending it like it's endless. One day it'll run out and you'll wish you had paid attention sooner. The fourth block is emotional weakness. Let's be real. Success doesn't care how you feel. Life doesn't slow down because you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. The world keeps moving, and if you let your emotions dictate your actions, you'll lose every single time. You have to learn to do what's required whether you feel like it or not. Discipline over emotion. Action over anxiety, movement over mood, that's the formula. People think strength is about how much weight you can lift. No, it's about how much discomfort you can handle and still show up. Can you wake up early when you're exhausted? Can you stay consistent when motivation dies? Can you keep pushing when nobody's clapping for you? That's strength. That's the difference between winners and everyone else. Winners do the work regardless. Everyone else waits to feel ready, but that feeling may never come. Success demands that you push through the fog, through the fatigue, through the frustration. That's where the breakthrough lies, on the other side of resistance. And let's not ignore the emotional baggage people carry around. Regret, guilt, insecurity, fear of judgment. These are chains that bind you to a limited life. Most of you aren't even failing because of external problems. You're failing because you're emotionally handcuffed by things that should have been dealt with years ago. Forgive who you need to forgive. Let go of the weight. Heal, not for peace, but for power, because the longer you carry emotional wounds, the less energy you have to dominate your life. Don't confuse healing with weakness. It's preparation. It's sharpening the sword. You can't fight for your future if you're still bleeding from your past. You need to become emotionally intelligent. That means recognizing your feelings without becoming them. You can feel angry but still speak with control. You can feel sad but still show up to work. You can feel doubt but still take the leap. The strongest people aren't those who feel nothing. They're the ones who don't let their feelings rule them. Emotional intelligence is what separates the discipline from the impulsive, the strategic from the self-sabotaging. Master your emotions or they will master you. Another thing that blocks your success is the fear of starting. You're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect opportunity. It doesn't exist. The stars won't align. Nobody's going to knock on your door and give you permission. You have to start with what you have where you are, with all the flaws, doubts, and imperfections. You have to take the first swing even if your hand is shaking, because action breeds clarity. Movement creates momentum. Waiting only breeds more waiting. The reason most people never make it is because they never even get out of the starting block. They are so paralyzed by what-ifs that they die with their dreams intact and unfulfilled. They spend more time planning than doing, more time thinking than building, but the battlefield doesn't reward thinkers, it rewards doers. You learn by doing, by failing, by adjusting, by trying again. Nobody gets it right the first time. Nobody, but you get better every time you move forward, and that's the point. Progress, not perfection. If you're not willing to be bad at something first, you'll never be great at it. Swallow your pride and start. And finally, entitlement. This mindset that you deserve something just because you want it. That success should come to you because you believe in yourself or because you've struggled. Let me tell you something. Nobody cares. The world doesn't reward your desires, it rewards your discipline. You don't deserve anything you haven't earned. You want success, then prove it. Show up when it's hard, outwork your competition. Stay consistent for years, not weeks. Make sacrifices, invest in yourself. Grind when no one's watching. That's how you prove you deserve it. This modern world has created weak minds who expect rewards without effort, fame without skill, riches without hustle. They want shortcuts, hacks, overnight results. But that's all a lie. There's no shortcut to mastery, no hack to greatness. You either put in the work or you don't, and the harsh truth is that most people won't. Most people will fold the second it gets hard. They'll quit at the first sign of pain. They'll blame the system, the world, their past. Anything but themselves, that's not you, that can't be you. You have to be the one who doesn't fold, who doesn't flinch, who doesn't expect anything and earns everything. You want real success. Strip away the lies, cut off the weak influences, delete the distractions, master your emotions, start before you're ready, and above all, stop expecting the world to give you something for nothing. The only way out is through. The only way up is work. You either rise or you rot. The choice is yours. You keep wondering why you're not successful, why you're stuck, why no matter how many books you read or motivational videos you watch, your life doesn't change. You think you're doing the work, but you're not being real with yourself. The truth is, you're blocking your own success with excuses, laziness, and a fragile ego, and you don't want to hear that because the truth hurts. But it's the only thing that can set you free. One of the biggest things blocking your success is the people around you. Look at your circle. Who do you spend time with? What do they talk about? What do they value? If they're not obsessed with winning, they're teaching you how to lose. If you're hanging around people who are okay with mediocrity, who settle for less, who party every weekend and waste time gossiping or scrolling, then you're being conditioned to be just like them. Your environment is everything. Success doesn't come from motivation. It comes from momentum, and your momentum is destroyed every time you waste hours with people who have no vision. Another killer is your addiction to distractions. You say you're grinding, but how many hours do you spend mindlessly scrolling on your phone, watching Netflix, playing video games, checking your notifications like a lab rat chasing dopamine? You're being played. Every minute spent numbing your brain is a minute stolen from your potential. The harsh truth is, you don't want success bad enough, because if you did, you'd unplug from the garbage and lock in. Focus is your superpower in this era, and you're giving it away for free. You're not protecting your mental energy, and that's why you can't build anything long-term. Then there's the issue of your emotions. You've been taught to be soft, to validate every feeling, to seek comfort, to avoid struggle. But success isn't found in comfort. It's forged in discomfort. Winners don't wait to feel like doing it. They execute regardless of how they feel. You can't build a powerful life if your emotions run the show. You can't expect progress if your discipline collapses every time you feel tired, bored, anxious, or unmotivated. Discipline isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. That's the point. That's the cost of greatness. You also lie to yourself. That's another thing keeping you broke, weak, and stuck. You say you're trying, but you're really just dabbling. You do just enough to feel busy, but not enough to get results. You rationalize laziness. You justify procrastination. You blame the system, the economy, your upbringing, the algorithm, anything but yourself. But here's the truth. As long as you play the victim, you stay a slave. You will never escape your situation by pointing fingers. Radical ownership is the only way out. Own your failures, own your lack of discipline, own the fact that you've wasted time. Only then can you rebuild from a place of power. Another major block is indecision. You hesitate too much. You overthink. You wait for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect plan. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking. Life is passing you by. The most successful people are not the smartest. They're the most decisive. They act fast, they adapt, they make moves, they fail forward. If you're stuck in analysis paralysis, you're training yourself to be passive. And passivity leads to regret. You don't need more information, you need more action. You need to stop waiting and start doing. Perfection is an illusion. Progress is the real power. You also don't track your time. You don't have systems. You don't have structure. You wake up with no clear direction. You let the day control you instead of controlling the day. If I asked you what your top 3 goals are and what you're doing every hour to achieve them, most of you would have no clue. That's why you're failing. Success isn't built on vibes. It's built on routines, targets, and relentless consistency. Winners don't rely on willpower. They use strategy. They know what they want. They reverse engineer the steps. They monitor their output. They audit their habits. You're losing because you're guessing. You're winging it. And the world doesn't reward people who wing it. Let's also talk about your comfort zone. It's a cage, it feels safe, but it's killing your potential. Everything you want, more money, more power, more pieces outside of that zone, and yet you keep retreating back to safety. You don't want to take risks. You don't want to feel awkward, embarrassed, or exposed, but that's the cost of transformation. Growth is uncomfortable. It requires pressure, failure, and tension, and if you're too scared to face that, you'll never level up. You'll stay the same. You'll rot in the same habits with the same people, getting the same results year after year, pretending like one day it'll magically change. It won't. Another silent killer: lack of patience. You want quick wins, you want overnight success, you want to get rich fast, so you chase shortcuts, you jump from one thing to another, you quit when it gets hard, and that mindset destroys any chance you had at mastery. The real players don't quit. They don't need it to be fast. They just need it to be inevitable. They stack wins slowly. They build brick by brick. They commit to the long game. You're losing because you expect too much too soon. You want the rewards without paying the price, but life doesn't work that way. Long-term thinking is a superpower, and most of you are mentally weak because you think in days, not decades. Then there's your relationship with failure. You see it as the enemy, you fear it, you avoid it, but failure is the forge. It's how you learn, it's how you grow. Every successful person has failed more times than you've even tried. They've been laughed at, doubted, rejected, and criticized. And they didn't care because they were obsessed. They had tunnel vision. You fail once and you collapse. That's not strength. That's cowardice. Stop being so fragile. Stop needing everything to go right. The world owes you nothing. Life isn't supposed to be easy, and the sooner you embrace that, the faster you rise. Lastly, you have no mission. You're wandering through life with no clarity, no purpose, no fire. And that's why you're distracted, emotional, inconsistent, and weak. You don't know what you're fighting for. You don't have a target that keeps you locked in. Without a mission, you'll chase anything that gives you a quick hit of pleasure. But when you have a mission, you become dangerous, you become focused, you become disciplined. Everything changes when your life has direction, but you have to decide, you have to choose a path and go all in. No more hesitation, no more doubt, no more waiting for permission. You were built to conquer, but you're acting like you were built to survive. And as long as that mindset runs your life, success will always be out of reach. Everything you want is on the other side of the excuses you keep telling yourself. It's not luck. It's not the system. It's not your past. It's you. The brutal truth is this: most people are addicted to comfort, enslaved by distraction, and too weak to face their own reflection. But the ones who win, the ones who break through, they burn the victim mindset to the ground. They cut off every crutch. They declare war on their weaknesses and build themselves into something unshakable. If you're still breathing, you're still in the game, but if you keep doing what weak people do, scrolling, complaining, doubting, procrastinating, you're guaranteeing yourself a life of mediocrity, and mediocrity is hell for anyone born with ambition. So it's time to make a decision, not tomorrow, now. Will you keep letting lies block your success, or will you finally rip them out by the root and do what needs to be done? No more distractions, no more stories. No more softness. Choose discipline, choose purpose, choose the hard road, because that's where real success lives, and it's waiting for the one who's savage enough to claim it. Be that one or be forgotten.